Aha! Matt has found the big red button.
It wasn't me. I did not invade Iran.
Oh, you had to go there.
Not this time. Good
I
evening,
know, I hope
ladies,
everyone was
gentlemen,
okay with your performance.
and Trump supporters. Yes, what a fucking day. But we'll get to that in a minute.
The Sunday check-in in no way supports Trump supporters.
The Sunday, yeah. We'll get to that in a minute. How have your week been?
I know where that'll go. I know.
Oh, it's going ranty tonight. Don't you worry.
It's going there.
There's no way to stop this one.
I promise you, this is going to be dark. Right. I see my beloved is in chat.
Oh, yeah, Lee is in.
Amazing. So what have you lot been up to this week?
As little as possible. Being fucking ill.
Pardon me.
I think the heat's hitting everywhere. No matter what degree, it's hitting everywhere, and everybody's kind of slowing down this past week.
Yeah, but I've had a fucking sickness bug.
Yeah, you've been down for the count for what, 4 or 5 days at least, Bill?
Yeah.
I've had a sickness bug since last night. I'm sick of Donald Trump.
Oh, we've had that one for months.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What a...
Hi, Lisa.
What?
Hi, Lee. Hi, Lisa. Hi,
hey, guys.
And Lee's been off shopping.
Yeah.
Well, of course. Lisa had made all that extra room in the house. First thing Lisa says, guitars and amps. We got this. I will fill the space.
Well, he's got in. I've seen how many bags there are of t-shirts. Bags, plural.
Lisa just goes, no.
That's a definite no. That's not a maybe. That's a
right. That's a saying no to Lee and to me for bringing it up.
Lisa's adopting a robot vacuum cleaner. Be careful with that, because if it's made in China, it could be controlled by Trump. It might be an attack cleaner.
Whatever you do not store your chef's knives on the cleaner.
It's the T1000. Oh, dear.
You can hear it now. Where is Lisa Simpson?
Sounds like a good name for a song, that, Lee.
Does actually.
Well,
it is.
You know, I don't watch the news, and I'm glad I don't, because if I had last night, I wouldn't have slept at all.
Well, I'll give you a bit. I think Lee already knows this. Last night, us three, so me, Lee, and G, did a show, and we got on to talking about what the Donald is currently doing, the Iran situation, and so on. And G and I both felt, and Lee all felt, that at some point there is going to be an upcoming war because Donald is going to invade.
Yeah.
That was about midnight last night. At 3 o'clock in the morning, guess what? Donald drops the bombs.
Yeah, quite literally.
Yeah. But it gets better from there, because he dropped the bombs on these nuclear silos to get rid of nuclear weapons, because we don't want places like Iran, we don't want them having nuclear weapons. I agree.
True.
Who's got more nuclear weapons, Iran or America?
America.
So you don't want a
But-
fucking lunatic who's not no clue what he's doing having control over those weapons.
And bypassing Congress to release those weapons.
Wasn't this the same tagline that was used for the Gulf for Mr. Blair and the Gulf? Because
Mhm.
they didn't want Mr. Hussein having any weapons of mass destruction, which they couldn't
Those would
find.
be the
Those
weapons
would
of
be-
mass destruction that didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ones that America sold to them but then didn't send.
Yeah.
Ow.
So we've now attacked.
kept the money.
We've flown over
Yeah,
our
they kept the money.
greatest stealth bomber, and we've dropped bombs on Iran, on the silos. Awesome. No other country in the world could do it, according to Trump. Anyway, so we've hit these silos and we've blown them to kingdom come. Guess what? There was fuck all in them. You've now just declared war.
Without doing anything.
And then afterwards, he talks about we need peace talks. We don't need. You've declared war on somebody, and then you say, "Oh, by the way," it's like me running up, punching Tyler, knocking him out clean on the floor, stamping on his head a couple of times, and then saying, "We need to have a talk about peaceful, a peaceful situation now." That's basically what he's done.
Yeah.
You didn't need to do this in the first place, but you declared war, you attack. And of course, Starmer, getting to our country, has gone along with Donald, going, yes, we'll help.
Well, what if he drops his
Brilliant.
papers, Matt?
How was yes, that image of him dropping the papers and Starmer down on his knees that just. I don't think it's the first time our Prime Minister's been on his knees in front of your president. That's all I'm going to say.
I didn't see it, but from what I've heard, it was a natural reaction.
It was a natural reaction for Starmer to be on his knees in front of your president, yeah. There's an image you just don't want in your head.
But
God.
this shows
Just
how
got
much.
the police academy scene in my head.
There you go.
Mm.
That's the one.
Well, exactly, Lee. And we've all been talking about this for how long? If you don't actually pay attention to history and learn from it, it's going to repeat itself no matter what. And it is.
An idiot is somebody who doesn't learn from history, doesn't learn from what's happened. An intelligent person looks at history and thinks, "Ooh, that didn't work. Won't do that again." No, let's go back.
You know what Donna reminds me of? When you get yourself a new dog and he shits on the carpet, you put his nose to it, smack him on the nose. Okay, don't do it again. Most dogs, usually one time, they don't do it again overall, right?
Yeah.
No, he's the one until he's, a week from croaking. He's still shitting on the carpet.
I'm just thinking about rubbing Donald's face in shit personally, but that just. The man is a moron, and it just really that's the funny side.
Even
to
take
it.
anybody's personal feelings out of it. It's just fucking dangerous.
Yeah, it is very dangerous now because
For everybody.
what he's done is he's declared war on Iran. I mean, they've had wars in that part of the world. 2,000 years they've been warring with each other. That's their way of life. Leave them to it.
Yeah.
You want to fight each other, fine, you get on with it. If you're in your countries, get on with it. That's it. Not our problem. This is
But
nothing.
Well, when we were talking this afternoon, the bit I still don't understand is Israel made the first strike on Iran. I mean,
See you later, Mel.
yeah. See you later, Mel.
Good luck, Melissa.
Yeah,
Have fun.
Good
Yeah,
luck, man.
have fun. There are two countries in between Iran and Israel. Israel made the first strike.
Yes.
Why? No matter which direction you go, there are at least two countries between them.
Yeah. All of this comes back from the West side, purely comes back to power and money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's all it is.
We talked about it earlier. You know, if you have enough money here, you can get away pretty much with anything you want to or have anything done.
Mm.
And don't forget, it also now means because America has declared war on another country, it means you can't get him out.
Trump can suspend Congress.
You're stuck with him.
And like I
Well-
said, I really believe that this was all planned out a long time ago to make it to where things couldn't or could be done. You know,
Oh, yeah. There is a plan here. There is a plan, that's for sure. I'm not sure what this, totally what the overall plan is, but there's definitely a plan.
But you look, we were at war with Germany, Parliament elections were suspended.
Yep.
The Ukraine's at war with Russia. Elections are suspended. Oh, look, Russia's at war with Iran. What does that mean? America is at war with Iran. What does that mean America can now do?
well, not
Suspend.
America, what he can do. Yeah,
Evening, Gary.
elections. Hey, Gary.
Gary.
Means he can suspend. What made me laugh is normally if you see any video with JD Vance in behind Trump, that sounded bad, but next to Trump, possibly behind as well. But anyway, JD Vance is smirking like a moron. That image last night when he did the press conference, JD Vance looked decidedly worried. He had a look on his face like, oh shit, what have you done this time? I actually think Vance is actually worried. I think he's thinking, you really put your foot in it this time. Because how many people in America wanted to go to war again?
Well, fuck nobody.
There'll be a few morons who think that, like here, there'll be idiots who think we should go and destroy Iran or whatever. We don't need war. We don't want. And
It's a power trip move of crap.
we don't need especially not when it's nuclear. If you've got nuclear weapons involved, Jesus Christ, that is unbelievable. This goes wrong.
Well, if Russia gets involved and Putin carries out his threat of turning it nuclear no matter what, I'm dead.
Just twist it. Twist his arm and keep twisting.
Now, place your thumb in that right spot in the center of the wrist and just.
It does. It genuinely does scare me that like there's not enough trouble in the world. Now you've decided to declare out nuclear war. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's not what the world really needs at the minute. It really isn't. It's
Well, there's already a powder keg in every separate country. Let's light it off here in the middle and watch everybody go off.
I'm not saying that everybody in the world is going to get on with everybody else. It's impossible. it's like, being at school kind of thing. Nobody gets on with everybody. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Mm.
But you can make it to a point where people can sort of, they can live with each other type of thing.
Well, you can
And it is
coexist without
possible.
all the bullshit if you don't go extreme on either side.
Yeah.
It's where you need a sensible, strong leader who actually sits there and goes, yeah, we really don't want to be going to war with no. This is not going to help anybody. We need to sort this situation properly.
I was going to say, the worst of it is, Iran might not have nuclear warheads, but they do have facility to make dirty bombs.
I don't.
Which
I actually
In
think
some ways,
think they
dirty
do.
bombs are worse.
I think they do.
Mm.
I think they have nuclear weapons. I just think Trump's information on the sites where they're stored was incorrect. They've
Yeah.
probably been moved or shipped to somewhere else.
Mm.
And I think those weapons are at a different site somewhere. I don't know this, but that's my impression. I think they've still got them. I'm not willing to test this theory because if I'm
Well,
right,
exactly.
I don't really want it. Plus, you've got British and American troops stationed in that area. What do you think Iran is going to do? It's not
They've
going to
already
go.
said what they're going to do.
It's not going to go. Oh yeah, they're all right. We'll leave them alone. They're going to attack. How many people are going to die because of one man's stupidity?
One man's ego trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what this is. Ego.
I mean, Bill Hicks summed up the American war mentality. America are the bullies of the world. Like Shane in the film Shane,
Yeah.
where he throws the gun down and says, "Pick up the gun."
Yeah.
No, I don't want to pick up the gun. Pick up the gun.
It's the oldest trick in the book.
The second he actually puts his hand out for the gun, gets blasted, gets shot away. You saw him; he had a gun.
And this is what.
Not until you forced him to pick it up.
Exactly, Lee. Vietnam, Korea,
Mm-hmm.
Iraq, Afghanistan, the Gulf War.
Mm-hmm.
How many wars is American? And I do feel kind of bad because it probably looks like I'm picking on Americans. I'm not picking on American people.
No, it's the political side of these idiots that keep thinking that all this rash action is a good idea.
Our Prime Minister, who is just as fucking bad, if not worse, because he's the fucking moron who's going, "Yes, Mr. President. Yes, sir. I'll do that. Yeah." You fucking moron. Stand up to him and say, "No, I'm not supporting you. I'm not going to be involved in this war. We don't need to be involved in it." But
This war is illegal.
On all kinds of different ways, Bill. Like you said, started illegally, probably funded and everything else.
Even your own Congress has said that this war's been started illegally.
Well, think because he literally bypassed Congress completely to send those missiles over.
Again. You might as well get rid of Congress. Just get rid of them.
Well, you're speaking about the man who actually was asked, "Are you supposed to uphold the Constitution?" He goes, "No, I'm not really sure."
What amazes me is that you've still got in America, there's people, some Americans who are proper Trump supporters. They're still out there in their pickup trucks, flying big flags saying, supporting Trump. What planet are you on?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you should take all your own bias out of it at this point and just look at the facts of what's going on. How do you support that?
Well, I can't.
No.
You
Like I
can't
said earlier,
support-
being a parent, it's absolutely terrifying for my kid's future to have this, man in power, let alone now that this has started.
Mm.
There's enough problems going on in this war. Enough problems going on in the current situation in the world without starting another war.
Well, exactly.
It should never have happened.
No.
Really shouldn't. It's
But again, we're thinking logically here, so there's our mistake.
I don't want to think like Donald because I don't know where his mind goes, but he's not on this planet. I'm telling you, he's.
Well, you got the bubble full of water where his brain should be. You got the guppy swimming around. Well, the problem is it keeps running into the sides.
Mm-hmm.
What we going to rename Iran now? Then is he going to rename parts
fuck.
of like the Middle East? New
Trumpistan.
America.
Trumpistan.
Oh God, that's actually terrifyingly possible.
He's going to
It
rename
is.
it New America.
America Junior.
YouTube are going to love me doing this live, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's been plenty of YouTube videos out today about it all.
I like that one, Lisa. Trumpton Town. Pew, pew, Barney McGrew.
Hospitable and club.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
I would
why,
assume
why is it everybody can remember the fire brigade?
Mm.
I would have sooner trusted them than I would the current politicians in America.
Yeah.
I
Shoot, I'll get Larry Moe and Curly and put them in office first before I put this asshole.
well, do you know the other reason? Talking earlier, why I think Trump's done this, because you had the politician from Texas who was trying to impeach Trump.
Yeah.
And he had a very, very good chance of getting Trump impeached.
Mm.
And Trump has done this to make sure he can't.
Well, after his wonderful turnout for his birthday celebration, the anniversary of the Army, he's a little upset.
When they sent all the shittest tanks and vehicles.
No, when nobody showed up for the actual event, everybody besides like you said, there's those handful of people that they're going to have their opinions and follow what they're going to follow, whatever. Those people did show up for it. Everybody else completely. That's why they had the No King's Day march across the entire U.S. Is everybody boycotted his thing to go, protest basically against him being in office. Oh, he loved that.
That would have. Oh my God, that would have battered his ego, wouldn't it? Oh God.
Mm.
He would have been crying on Vance's shoulder all night long.
I mean, he'll have got a globe and he'll have gone, right, where's the furthest place from America that I can start a war?
No, he probably just spun it and just stopped it.
Yeah, but Iran's just about as far as you can get from America.
If he'd done the spinny globe and then pointed it, it'd be funner if he had come on Washington.
Mm.
Well, I made a commitment.
Nuke them. That's us, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, nuke them anyway. I'll be in the bunker.
It's fine. The brown pence have been acquired. Do what you have to do.
Yep, nuke us.
Well, yeah, actually, if you look at a map, if you look at the globe on Google Earth, Iran is just about as far as you can get from the United States. Because if you've got Iran in the center of the globe, you cannot see either coast of the United States.
Super Donald. Donald to the rescue.
Yeah, Gary, he also, in his political promises to get elected this time, said he would make sure there was no wars that got started.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler can't look on Google Maps.
Mm.
No.
Donald's banned him.
Well, especially by trying to put it into travel anywhere.
Yeah, Canada's disappeared according to that.
Well, that's like I'm supposed to go out of state for my work to go to one of our new shops and set everything up. Yeah, I have to take the trip for driving because I don't have the real state ID to be allowed to fly.
Do you know what makes me laugh about that is you put in like something on Google Maps in America, and according to Google Maps, America doesn't exist. If you're in America, Donald, you can't hide the entire country. It doesn't work.
You are nowhere.
He's like a kid with a blanket and he put it over their head. You can't see me.
Hi, William.
Hi,
Greetings, William. Hope you're well.
Hey,
bud.
William.
Yeah, not too bad.
Talking the woes of the world, William. It's going to be one of those shows.
Yeah.
We're talking about Donald's latest exploits.
Yep. Welcome to the Trump's a Twat show. Oh, that's every week, isn't it?
Mm.
You know, Gary, let physics actually take effect because I want to see the weight of that gold smush him into fucking nothing.
I'd sooner heat the gold up so it just melts around him and he's stuck.
Well, he'd probably be
Not
happy with
really.
that. He'd have a gold statue of himself. It'd be a negative, but you know.
I've had one big dildo, that, wouldn't it?
Mm.
No, not really, William. No changes there. It's the whole war situation.
This
Can't
is
really ignore this week, you know.
this one really is ridiculous, though.
Well, just when you think it's safe to go back in the water, Donald appears.
Shoot, I don't even want to leave the house.
I won't worry. I don't think you're likely to get nuked in America, mate. I think you'd be all right.
It's not that. I mean, yes, it's obviously a concern. You know, in the back of your mind, you're not going to let that just go away. But
I mean,
no, it's more what's going to happen civilly because of, you know, this and that and everything else. And
well,
you know how people are. Let supplies start running low and people turn to savage, you know, when they start trying to get a hold of supplies.
we're going to
Mm.
Yep. Can't argue there.
I think, to be honest, I mean, we're talking this last night, and I think you're definitely, without a doubt, you're heading for a civil war in America. Seriously, you're heading for
And
a
watch
civil-
it. And watch it's literally going to be a political civil war against supporters and non-supporters of Trump.
Well, I mean, that was obvious, William. They were going to drag us into it. They always do.
Mm.
And obviously, with Prime Minister or our Prime Minister currently, who seems to be Trump's latest boyfriend, the only hope I've got is that I noticed Donald doesn't seem to be looking very well. He looks a bit grey.
Quiet. Keep saying again.
I'm
That's the
hoping,
bits that he's dyed orange.
yeah, the bits that aren't dyed orange, he's looking a bit grey. So I'm hoping he's ill. No, I don't think they have a cunning plan, William. I think Baldrick's plan
Mhm.
would have been far better than the
Would have
current
been
one.
better.
Do you want me to do my war poem, William? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. No, I'll
Can I
That's
guess the
what-
next line?
go on then.
Boom, boom, boom.
You've been looking at
Rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat goes the machine gun.
you've been looking at my poems again. It just scares the hell out of me how it's gonna impact the world. It really does.
Well, I said, let Iran do what they promised and literally shut down their refineries.
It's
Iran
gonna
can,
cause. Mhm.
Iran can work as a third world country still.
Well, it won't
They
affect
don't-
them really in anything to where they're going to, really care, but it's going to
They,
affect everybody
they are
else.
not they are not heavily reliant on technology and power.
Whereas America very much is.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
We very much are. I don't know.
Well, look how far we've come. I mean, a properly placed EMP and everyone is blacked out.
Yeah. If you want to fuck the world up, just set off an EMP and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been discussed since that was first created. You want to go send people back to the Dark Ages? That's what is going to happen.
Well, that's one thing, William. That's one thing. How many illegal, as you say, undocumented Iranians? There's also that leaves us open to possible terrorist attacks. Not saying there will be, but possible. And that applies to America as well.
Well, you don't have tracks on every single individual. You don't know all their intents. You don't know what they have access to.
Well, if they're undocumented, how do you know how many are in America?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know,
Then you're going to have obviously the usual idiots, the sort of anti anybody who isn't white, who are going to be declaring war on everybody who they think might be Iranian.
and they're probably going to be wrong 99% of the time.
Yeah. It's a good way of supporting your Make America American again, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why we're deporting U.S. citizens.
Do you know what annoyed me saying about that, William? The RAF base that was recently broken into. What annoyed me about that is years ago, if you'd broken into a RAF base and were caught, there's a good chance you'd have been shot. The security is that lax on it now. The people can just get in there. And this is just some idiot off the street. So if you're somebody who wishes to plant some sort of explosive device, yeah, that's not good. I see a long and troubled road ahead. It does fall under treason.
Mm-hmm.
But when's the last time they actually used the treason law as it should be used? I mean, treason, as far as I know, is still a hanging offence.
I think the last time treason was used as written was in the 50s.
Yes. Yep, there was, Lisa. So you're already starting to see it's already kicking off. Evening, Martin. Hope you're well, buddy.
Martin.
It's already kicking off. The Iranians are going to kick off in this country.
Yeah.
They're going to kick off in America. And to be fair, you can't really blame them. Oh, fuck's sake, yeah. Can't think of his name now.
Burgess and McLean.
Might have been Burgess and McLean.
But that didn't go full treason.
No.
That just went to a spying charge, didn't it?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I said earlier, man, it's you want to be, blissfully ignorant and try to just whatever, but you can't ignore when all this is going on. But that seems to be the government mindset. Let's put our head in the sand and just kind of run with it.
Mike.
Hi,
Hi, Mike.
The
Hey, Mike.
National Front's arrived.
Bloody
Evening,
big nose.
Michael.
Honestly, I can't remember what the mix is called. It's the one with the octopus on the carton. Raspberry and something or other. But the big ass bottle was free.
The problem I have with this, Martin, and I've already said before you came in, is first of all, America has done their normal thing of they have declared war again on something that they didn't need to declare a war on. They've gone in heavy-handed and bombed 3 sites and found nothing. No plutonium was found. Nothing. So you've bombed 3 sites and nothing was found. We're back to the thing of weapons of mass destruction. Prove it to us. Where's the proof?
The thing is, the international nuclear lot have already said there is no increase in radiation, no increase in background radiation, which means they didn't hit anything that they claim to be shooting at.
But nobody else could have done it like America. What you mean, missed everything?
Missed.
Because that's the only thing that they did.
Yeah, but America were good at missing anything except their own or their friends' troops.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you're definitely that, Mike. You're definitely patriotic. I'll give you that, mate. I just think the whole situation is Trump should have kept his fucking nose out of this.
Absolutely.
He's gone into something, declared war, taken everybody into another war that nobody needs to be in.
We have no right being involved at all.
No.
Ridiculous. And of course our Prime Minister's now dragged us into it as well. I'm not sure who he's going to send from the UK because
the elderly and disabled, he's already shitting on them as it is.
Well, he could try and send me, but I will shoot Trump before I shoot anybody.
God, could you imagine handing Matt an automatic weapon?
Wouldn't need an automatic weapon.
I don't know. I just need give me a rifle. I can quite happily.
Yeah.
Nope. You get a sharpened stick.
Give me a sharpened stick. I'll still fuck Trump up. You don't know where I'm going to shove the stick.
I would say Popsicle Trump.
Yep, we're going to have to rename Matt the Baseball Ace. Oh no, it was the Warriors, wasn't it? Who said, "You come near me with that, and I'll turn you into a popsicle."
Yeah. Dad's Army of Darkness. Oh, I love that one. I really like it. Dad's Army of Darkness. That's got me thinking. That as for something. That's got me. That's all I'm going to say. That's got me my mind going now. Dad's Army of Darkness. No, I can't start writing lyrics now. But I don't know. I suppose it's a waste of time asking you, like, if you've seen anything vaping wise that you've actually bothered buying.
We can do a week
Can't
review.
lie, I've got
Bill?
items in a basket.
I'm still
No.
using this, and it's not been out of my hand since I got it. Hardly.
Evening,
How's-
Jim.
How's the chipset on it?
And the hog.
It's actually pretty good.
Hey,
It's
G.
a basic chipset. Does what it says, and it's as accurate as the G2.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. That is good.
Handful.
For days.
Light shade as well.
But one of the things I
Phil,
like.
Oh god, it's so quick
lighter
for us
grip
to
on
go
your
into the
bod, buddy. It's
gutter.
going purple.
Too
No,
too
it's
tight a
supposed
grip.
to be
Too
purple.
tight a grip.
Oh,
Too tight a
Mike's
grip.
got.
Oh, you've got the sidekick, have you? I did look at that, but
I'm just
well,
waiting
it's
for.
only copper, brass, or stainless steel.
I'm waiting for the Desolator V4 kit to come back in stock over here and grab one of those.
I want the Oxford DNA. That's one thing I keep looking at.
You still haven't pulled the trigger on that one?
Still on pre-order.
Oh, is it?
I'm waiting for Craig to buy it, see if it leaks, because he can make anything leak. He needs to stop using the damn method.
Yeah.
Well, he's trying to go all Rip Trippers about it and re-wick his pods.
I did actually, you say that, I actually took one of the pods apart to go in the EHE one the other day. It's just a notch coil in them.
Is it really?
A notch coil, yeah.
They went all the way back to notch coils for it to actually
All the
work,
way back to
proper
notch
temperature
coils.
control and everything. Really?
Yeah. Stainless steel notch. I was trying to work out how I could build a coil,
And insert into the coil head?
but there's just not. You wouldn't be able to do it. There's not. It's not there.
I'm just
You'd have to
wondering
like
if
solder leads in, wouldn't you?
It's awkward. It's
Let-
awkward how they've done it.
possible less distortion on the coil with it being a notch coil.
Yeah.
But to be honest, with how long the coils last in these anyway,
Yeah.
it was boredom. I was sat watching telly and I was bored, so I had my screwdriver out. I was fiddling about. There was bits of plastic flying everywhere.
Couple of stabs of the hand as well.
Funny you should say that. I did stab myself.
I must admit,
Oh,
I have noticed that they've dropped the first one down to $7.99 on their summer sale.
Thing is, the original one with the new pods in.
Yeah, the new pods are good.
The new pods are brilliant. So you stick the new pods in the old mod.
Problem is,
The
I
only
think that
difference you've
might.
got is you don't have all the fancy display.
Thing is, I don't think the battery, because of the amount of liquid that's going through mine, in other words, through
Yeah.
and out through the bottom, I think it's just knackered the unit.
Oh, I mean,
I
I
know
would
that
say get the
I
V2.
know that happened with Grim Green's ones.
Get the V2 because the V2 is better. It's better.
It's a lot better.
And I'm getting anywhere up to 6-7 weeks out of a pod, which if you're getting a month out of a pod, you're doing fucking well.
If you're getting 2 weeks out of pod, you're doing good as well.
I mean, I have heard other reviewers, or apparent reviewers, small Scottish ones who might not be a reviewer anymore, say that Martin, you do realise I have the power to put you in timeout, don't you?
Well, no,
I
see,
won't.
Martin, we found them on offer. We all need a door stopper, so we picked a couple each.
I won't. I'm just saying I have the power. But carry on. I think from what I've seen, I think Mr. Mullen may have finally quit. He's finally given up.
Oh, there's been plenty of whinging going on, so
Yes, Gary, you were very close to getting timed out and booted out last night with some of your musical comments. Honestly. And your choices on beer. Oh, my God. I've always wanted to try Stella Artois.
Why?
Well, I think that's what me and Lee and G all thought. Huh?
Yeah, I remember in the early 80s when Stella was a big thing. And I think I did actually try a pint.
Oh, yeah, that was his other one. He likes Coors Light. I mean, I'm not here to...
I wouldn't mind, but you can't spell Coors.
Because
the drink, because that's the Irish band.
Don't mock the afflicted.
Yeah, but that's the Irish band.
I mean, I wouldn't mind trying them.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, that's a different story. Anyway.
Particularly Andrea.
Oh, no, of course he wouldn't, Martin. No, he's either he has done that, acted like a petulant little child and he's gone off sulking, or he's done it to get a reaction.
that was kind of my thought process.
Oh, I'm quitting. Let's see who says something.
Right. So you come to my side. Well, I'll help you get yourself back up and going if you want to keep going with it.
And notice how so many people have rushed to his aid.
Let's put it this way. If Vic was standing on a bridge ready to jump, I would be behind him. Arms outstretched, pushing.
No, you'd be the one if you were in charge of measuring his bungee cord rope. Why is it so long? It's specifications, I promise.
Just as he jumps, is this end meant to be connected? Oh. I can't even be asked to rant about Vic, quite honestly, but it is true.
Yeah, but right now with the world situation, a good laugh isn't a bad thing.
It's true what Martin said about him being like a petulant child.
That's true.
He's had all these years of people supporting him and people giving him money.
And giving him free stuff.
And all he can think about isn't what he's had. It's what he's missing. It just proves the kind of person he is. Rather than actually saying, oh, well, if this is the end of Vaping with Vic channel, thank you for supporting me.
Yeah.
It's much appreciated. I mean, we said about this last night. You know, they reviewing when you start isn't you know, you end up paying for a lot of shit, and then eventually maybe you're lucky enough a company sends you an item to
Mhm.
review,
Yeah.
and as time goes on you might get a few more things given to you if you're lucky.
Mhm.
But you don't make that your premise of your whole, channel is, oh, I want them to send me free things. And no, that's not.
Well, I'm doing them a favour. Not really. They're doing you a favour by sending you free shit and supporting your channel.
Mhm.
Right, because they can send the free shit to anybody and get their name out there.
But these sites now, these companies, Vaporesso were one of the first, who saw that, hold on a minute, why should we have to pay the reviewer? We don't need to do that. We can get someone of our staff to do a YouTube video and a YouTube channel, and we can do our own videos
Mhm.
Yeah.
and show our item in a good light on our own channel.
Right, and have complete control over every single aspect of what gets put out there.
And that costs us, well, nothing.
Mm. I mean, a lot of the presentation things that the likes of Vaporesso does, Vupu, those kind of companies are all AI generated anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, yeah. Obviously, if you watch a Vaporesso product and watch their video, yes, it's going to be the greatest mod in the world ever made. So you take that with a massive pinch of salt and you go,
Well, yeah, especially coming directly from the
okay.
company. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you do the same with a reviewer anyway.
Yeah.
Well, back when we all actually watched reviews, especially when we bought something new, you didn't watch just one review.
Mm.
You had at least probably 2 or 3 different reviewers that you trusted their opinion to a certain degree. You got all the information you could, and you kind of picked through what you wanted.
I mean, I can't remember the last time I actually watched a reviewer and actually thought what they said made any difference to me buying the product.
Yeah.
I really can't.
Mm.
Well, it's like when I wanted to buy the Torin 30, I ended up being on the what was it? I think it was when Grim does his fiddle on Twitch on like Tuesdays. Okay, I'm not going to watch your review and just go from there. I'm just going to literally ask you, is this a piece of shit or is it worth me buying? Oh, it is worth buying? Cool, I'll give it a try.
Yeah. Obviously, Gary, it's going to be biased. Of course it's going to be biased because they want to sell their product. So, yeah, they're going to say...
Well, yeah, it's all business.
But then you've got to think with somebody like Vic and a lot of the other big reviewers, they're getting paid by these companies.
Yeah.
So
They're just as biased.
It's biased anyway. So... Once you learn about vaping, especially, once you learn about certain things, you can look at a tank or an RDA or a pod or whatever.
Well, you make your own opinions pretty quick.
I can tell you whether something is good.
Yeah.
I can tell you if an RDA will work, and I can tell you if an RDA will work with certain style of vaping.
Yeah.
In my case, high airflow, massive wattage, big coils, a lot of heat. I can tell you if it's going to work. Because I've certainly owned most RDAs. Just makes me wonder how much I've spent over the years. A lot.
To contemplate.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
The sad part is, though, Matt, think about some of these guys who do the high-end stuff, and they spent what you did on, 20 RDAs for one mod.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all know those people. We've seen the Instagram pictures, the hand checks, everything else. Why does your hand check look like it cost you $4,000?
Well, you've only got to look at like Todd's reviews, haven't you? If Todd says something is good, all of them from Todd's who are subscribed to him go out and buy it. With the Boro stuff, and yet all he ever vapes is mouth to lung. And Vic is the same. Vic only vapes mouth to lung daily.
Well, that's
So
what things like. That's like I like Grimm's videos because he admits it. He uses all different styles of vaping. Just depends on the day, the time, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That tells me you have experience in other styles. Where I'm not going to go to Vic for an RDA review or any review, but I'm not going to go to him for an RDA review when that's not how he vapes on a daily basis. Oh, this is shit. Yeah, because you don't like that type of vaping. Of course, it's shit for you.
Yeah. I mean, you and I may have discussed this many times, Matt. We can both look at the drawings to an RDA and RTA and go, yep, that'll work. No, that won't work. That'll work because.
Yep, you can see through it.
Yeah. I bought this because I looked at the dimensions and the spec of it and real photographs of it and said, no, that should be comfortable in my hand.
And he likes the
It
colour.
is. And I like the colour.
I'll say you can't leave that up, but we all know you bought that half for the color.
He likes it because it's pink.
It's purple.
Pink.
Purple.
Oh.
I don't have many purple mods, but it is one of my favourite colours. And just to break it up, I thought that's actually a nice shade of purple.
Yeah.
No, because that should have the same chipset that the 400 XL has, doesn't it? Obviously a wattage difference in the chip.
It's
Yeah, it looks the same.
Yeah, it's just restricted the same as the 400. But it works well. And it looks after batteries better than the G2 does.
Hmm.
Now, have you had any issue with the 510 on it? Because I saw Nick's review for it, and he said that he bottomed out the 510 screw, and he still had a gap on his RDA.
Yeah.
I've got a very, very slight gap on the on my RTA, bottomed out.
Answer to that is get a pair of mole grips on it, do it up a bit tighter, sort of.
Yeah, just wrench it down, it'll be fine. But
I'm joking, by the way, before anyone tries it and then tries
Right.
getting the money out of me. Do not do that. Nothing, Gary. If you like pink and you like to make the boys wink, that's entirely up to you. You know, I mean, with what you're drinking.
Gary, just because you sit in your yard and make milkshakes, we didn't need to know. It's okay. We accept you, but
If you like your Coors Light, and you know, that's the way. I'm trying to think the best word of saying it. That's the way you sort of live your life. I'm more than happy for you. I'm more
at
than
least, I mean, it could be worse. You could be drinking Bud Light, which we know is
no, worse than Bud Light, Yingling.
Oh,
That stuff is so. I've had a half bottle of that in my life. Oh my God, is that bad beer?
yeah, but so's Bud Light.
Well, yeah. I mean, it gets worse though. Mad Dog just came out with the new Mad Dog 2020 line of pre-canned drinks.
Why?
Right. Well, think this new generation has rediscovered Mad Dog and think that they discovered it and that's something new. And, oh, they're going to regret this so bad.
that is a very good point, actually, Michael. If you've got a gap, stick an RDA or RTA protector. Gap
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it protects your mod. It's a very, very good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Very good
That
point.
would-
Nick. Anybody
that
would think
would-
Mike knows what he's talking about, and he used to be a reviewer.
Mm.
See,
I
now,
used to
now you're-
like
now you're
Mike.
talking all kinds of mess now, man.
I liked Mike when Mike used to do his reviews. Mike was. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed Mike doing his.
Oh, we had
reviews.
some good laughs when he was still doing his reviews.
He was funny. Mike used to do a good job at that.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. Somewhere I've got some of the 510 protectors.
You know, it was probably a couple years ago. I think
I think
This
they
is when I
had
got
some
my
in the
Kennedy.
box with it.
Well, I was
I
going
got
to
my
say
Kennedy and I
some.
wanted to buy some online. Could not find them fucking anywhere. Over here, anyway.
You are a cunt. We all know you are, Michael. You know, Gary, we need to get you on I need to sort you like a list of beers that you need to try. Proper beers.
Same time, Gary, I've heard their recommendations. Those try to get me to drink Calvados. So we're gonna take with a grain of salt for their advice.
You'll
No,
be
no,
fine.
no. You need to try Calvados.
Calvados
I actually
is
do want to at
lovely.
least try it. Just you know what I mean.
It is an experience.
Call me a jackass, you bald-headed tit.
You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the real Calvados.
There's nothing wrong with it. What? No.
Just don't put the glass down on a wooden table.
Oh yeah,
If
varnish
there's any-
table.
It won't just burn through varnish; it will burn through the wood.
All right, Martin. Here's the question though. Which RDA did you pick? Because that's an interesting area for atomizers and everything. Because there was a lot coming out then, and a lot of it was shit.
But I've got RDAs from 2015 that I would still, if built properly.
Well, that's why I asked what he has, because
No,
there are
it's-
certain ones that well, we all know that stuff back then was a little more finicky. You have coil placement and size and everything made a bigger difference than it does now.
Yeah, but the Velocity and the Goon came out in 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have really good flavor, both of them.
TM22.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be 2015 or before.
Well, I'll say because the 24 Pro was what 17 or 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike will tell us in a minute because he'll probably remember when the 22 was released. I've got a feeling it was 2015. Counter fucktarding. I just what that TM22 Pro, the TM22, when did it come out, Mike? I think it was 2015 or before.
The Goon was definitely 2015 or before, because I moved into this place in 2016 and I already had the Goon. Because I used it in my old place. Yeah. 2014.
I'll tell you what the issue, Martin, I have with mesh. Mesh works if it's a pre-built coil. As a rebuildable, it doesn't work in an RDA because if I'm vaping a custard, you need more heat in it to get the flavour, and you can't get the heat using mesh.
I mean, yeah, if you want a cold vape and you want, vape production from that, you'll get it, but it's going to be a cold vape no matter what.
I just think you use a hell of a lot of cotton
Yeah.
on a mesh, on anything which is mesh.
I'm trying to think. The only one I ever saw good reviews as far as like actually like a warmer vape, I think it was a dual series mesh deck.
The dual series mesh deck was.
I think it was Steam Crave, wasn't it?
It
I think
was.
that was the Steam Crave deck, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the only ones I've ever really heard anybody being like, yeah, it had decent heat for what it was. But you've got two pieces of mesh running at whatever wattage. It's going to have more than a single strip does.
But you could still only ramp it to probably 80, 90 watts.
Yeah.
Which to me, on a big tank like that, yeah, on the Ragnar, gee.
Hmm.
I never rated the Ragnar for flavour though. It was okay, but
like I said, the tank itself I liked. I liked the vape off of it. But fuck, you could not open the top of that tank without a set of pliers to save your life.
I'll have a laugh after the show, see if
Well,
I can get mine apart.
Aromomizer Plus V2s that are welded to get the top is welded to the juice thing. The top cap's welded to the kidney holes. Yeah.
That's how the Ragnar is. That's how the Ragnar is. You cannot get it apart for anything. Like you're putting tweezers in the bottom juice slots and trying to plier the top off. It's ridiculous.
All you end up doing is bending tools. That's what you end up doing.
When I actually used the Ragnar for a while, I would take the bottom, like where the actual deck goes in, I would take that off the Ragnar and fill the tank through the juice slots and then put the base back on. Because it was easier to get the top off.
There's G saying it, and there's a builder saying it. The Ragnar screws.
Those screws.
Shit.
Oh.
Well, it's like when I got that first got the Asgard 30. Those weren't much fucking better. I mean, they were technically better because, well, Steam Crest uses spray cheese for screws. But
well, yeah, I think he's sponsored by Kraft.
Easy Cheese.
The Kraft Steam Crave mod.
It's that dairy.
Think Easy Cheese screws. You the best connection ever because once they're in, they ain't never coming out.
They just round off so quick as well.
Even the flathead ones.
Yeah. The trouble is, you need to put big coils in that deck for it to work.
But you're gonna have gauge of wires or at least a combination through fuse of a pretty decent leg on the coil.
Yeah. Absolute, so badly built.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget about slightly mishandle the tank without the caps on, you're going to cut yourself.
Those screws that they use, G, they're not aluminium. They are actually steel, but they're not hardened steel. They're soft. They're just untreated soft steel.
Like machined into grub screws and then sent out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, of course, as soon as you put anything on them, any pressure, it bends.
Yep.
I mean,
I'll agree with you there, Martin. I've got a couple of those, the Ripsaw. I actually quite like that for flavour. It's quite a good RDA.
I was surprised where they did the airflow on that one. I actually liked how
it's weird. It's a weird.
It is very weird.
It is weird.
It is very weird.
It does work. It does work.
The only thing I've noticed is that gasket, that O-ring or whatever you want to call it, that they use to channel the airflow through the top. That I noticed is not like any juice has any color to it whatsoever because it does discolor pretty quick.
It stains so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure that the Bearded Viking came up with the design for the Ripsaw, personally.
No. I don't think so, to be honest.
Well, in all fairness, think about when it came out. Think about where innovation was as far as, airflow and everything. That just somehow came out of nowhere with something no one's really ever done.
Yeah. There'll be no hating in here, Michael. You see, it's weird.
He only says it because when he had the goon, he'd walk around town and everybody, look, a goon with a goon. Then he get upset.
You're going to get a reply to that, I guarantee it. You're going to get some abuse.
If I didn't infuriate him to a certain degree, he wouldn't think I cared.
Mum with bald head furiously typing at keyboard right now.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, the FUCK does no longer work, but
I've worked out what it is with the goon. It isn't actually the goon. It's Mrs. Doyle off Father Ted. Go on.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, Rod. It's Irish. It's an Irish RDA.
Well, especially that last version they brought out that had go on actually on the clamps.
Oh. The worst goon they ever did was the LP, the low profile. Oh my god!
Oh,
see, I never had one, but I saw it.
I
had
build
one
on that
with the side clamps.
that you decided to put the coils on the sides of those side clamps.
Yeah,
you've got to put the coils in and then bend them around the clamps.
and the best bit about it was because it was low profile. By the time you got them in and you wicked it, you had this tiny little wick, which is good in a way. Short wick, it'll wick up well, yes. But if you overjuice it just by a little bit, as soon as you hit the fucking power on it, it's spitting. You might get one decent hit off it if you're lucky.
Yeah, but it'll be the second and third. Might be the second or the third hit, because the first hit will just be molten liquid.
Yeah. Oh, you get loads of flavour because you're drinking up the liquid. Yeah.
Mm.
God, it was such a bad design.
What was the other one I saw? It was an old one. The Lepton Micro. Where your entire airflow was that little ring under the drip tip.
Yeah. Over the years, mate, there's been some designs that you look at and you think, wow.
What was that one that had like 8 post holes on it, like the Armadillo or whatever it was? That had the weird pyramid style post in the center.
Yeah. There was a time when they it's like Mike said about the Wasp. The Wasp Nano actually is really good for flavour if you don't try and run it at anything over about 50 watts. Anything over 50 watts, it's like, no.
The capstone. That one.
Yes.
The look of the outer cap on the capstone.
Yeah, Martin, there was one with 5 coils.
There was one with 8 coils, and there was also one with 12 coils.
The Colorado.
With Jay Hayes' Christmas tree build in it.
The Colorado was possibly the most pointless RDA I have ever seen.
Well, I can't remember how many airflow slots it had, but it had so many you had to use a minimum of like 6 or 8 coils to even have the airflow hit anything.
Yeah.
And there was the RDA by Suicide Mods, the one that took 4 coils, the one that Batman built.
Yeah.
With 2 pairs of 007 coils.
Yeah. I tell you, one of my favourite RDAs ever for building on And it was at the time, it was the first postless deck was the Cosmonaut. The Cosmonaut and the Cosmonaut V2. The problem was you had so little actual deck on it. There was no juice capacity.
Yeah.
You had
You have to
literally
cut your legs really, really short too.
Oh yeah. You had literally the juice capacity of what wick you got in there. It was great for build. This is why so many of the old school builders you will see pictures on the Cosmonaut, because it looked great. It looked awesome in pictures. But
a truly disastrous RDA, the Moonshot. The best thing about that was the tin it came in.
yeah,
Because you could change the tin into a mech mod.
you could.
That's right.
Truly disastrous RDAs.
But you went to put your screwdriver into that though, and it just chased around in circles.
Yeah, it did.
What, the Moonshot? I thought it was an RDA.
I actually just went to look it up. I couldn't remember the deck, but no, it was an RTA. Yeah.
All right.
Because the deck kept spinning. Never had the Moonshot.
I never had the Moonshot. Because I watched a couple of people trying to build it and thought, fuck that.
I'll tell you, what was one of the bitch to build was the Nudge from Matt. I mean, once you could get it together, it wasn't a bad RDA. I mean, aluminum top cap that, well, says enough by itself. But trying to get your leads actually quote down into that deck was always fun after you got the first one in.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it
Well,
was
that triple clamp, the center clamp thing, the way they did it. I mean, I get it, but it wasn't easy to use.
The other one of Matt's, of course, was the Passage.
See, I never got that one, but I actually like the way the airflow was done on that. I never tried it. So
I had the Passage. That was quite good.
I never got it, but
It was quite good. If you single coiled it, it was quite good.
I just didn't like all the jokes about sucking on Matt's Passage.
Well, true.
Well, I mean, look at the guy's handle that he decided to go with for his channel. Suck my mod. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember it. Okay, they were quick release. The trouble was they didn't clamp in the first place.
Well, it's like all those, RDAs and RTAs that use the ceramic clamp. Most of them either did not hold the coil properly, or when it did, it snapped the ceramic in half.
For me, the Golem to this day, I still use the Golem, as you know, on a mech. Still one of my favourite RDAs. 007 building it. Airflow 4 fucking days. I mean, so much airflow is ridiculous. It's just amazing. But yeah, it is a learning experience to build on. Once you know how to build it, it's fine. But getting the how to build on it to start with, yeah. Yeah, Mike and those guys were fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Old school coil builders, just proper. They were cool.
Well, there's one for you guys. I'm going through old RDAs on here to see like anything pops up. The big gripper. That's when I haven't heard anything in a long time.
The Mad Hatter, yeah, with a little flip top
Yep.
on.
We had
Yeah.
Matt Hatter, you had the tugboat, the freak show.
The Freak Show had really good flavour, but it had leg cutter clamps.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah.
The issue is, Martin, is what goes on nowadays is a company, let's pick on Deja Vu. Okay, Deja Vu come out with an old design called RTA or RDTA. Try and charge 50 quid for it. Shove some pink and black paint on it. Shove Bogan's name on it and try and make out that it's something special. Because
And apparently didn't tell him till after the fact.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's a piece of shit. RDTAs, there were very few decent ones.
Like I said, I have had one over the years that I actually used like consistently, and that was the Pyro B2. That one I actually liked. Past that,
I've had two that were.
Oh, we know that, Mike.
They were the. Oh God, I forgot the name of the company. They were a collaboration company between two different companies to make an RDTA. You had them as well.
Limitless.
Yeah.
That's the one. The Limitless 2 and the Limitless 5
were good. Yeah, they were.
The Limitless 4 never appeared.
No, that was a great mystery of our time. That went down with the Titanic, I think.
Yeah. The
They've
Limitless
never released
1
it.
and the Limitless 1 and the Limitless 3 were rubbish.
Yep.
But the 2 and the 5 had really good flavour.
which means they designed all the 4s, had them made, they set 4 on it and went, oh, these are shit. Let's go to the 5.
Yeah.
Over the years, there's been some terrible. Do you know? I get the distinct impression, Martin, that you like a cool vape.
Yeah.
You see, for me, I don't like cool vapes.
No. Like, honestly, if I want a cool vape, I'll add, an ice or something to the liquid I'm using. But I still want the same resistance on coils. I still use the same wattage.
I tend to prefer higher wattages.
You also prefer custards too.
I prefer custard and dessert sort of flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same
See,
as me.
I couldn't do it. I could not vape a custard all day by any dessert flavor all day.
Right, Gary. What's the difference between a cool vape and a normal one?
About 20 watts.
Yeah, about 20 watts, but it depends. If you're rebuildable, in my case, you're talking lower ohmage, higher wattage. So most of the stuff.
Well, Matt, look at like a mech build. So let's go off a mech voltage, right? Go back, when batteries weren't as great on amps and everything. You used a 0.2. You used a 0.2, for a mech build.
Yeah.
That compared to the same amount of voltage on, well, what like me and Matt use, like Mike uses, you're gonna get a hell of a temperature difference and a ramp up difference and everything else.
The biggest thing is your ramp up with the 0.2 coil is horrendous compared to anything from a 007 to a 0.11.
Yeah.
Because you've got that much more mass of coil.
Me personally, I prefer I prefer that hit you get at low, you know, a low ohm build.
You also like to hit vapes at like 875 watts. So
Yeah, until he breathed in fire.
What do you mean
On the
there's
first
snuffers out there that vape at 400 watts, Martin?
what do you say?
I haven't done a 400 watt vape for a while.
Matt, it's been like 6 months since we did that, if that.
Not doing it
It's
again.
been about 3 months.
I haven't done any over 400 watts for a while.
Yeah, the last one you did over 400 watt, well over 400 watts,
Was
was
double.
on Dave's show.
Yeah, it was double
Yeah.
that. It was over 800.
It worked at 850, 870?
875.
Yep, 875.
And
That
you took a
was warm.
hit off it and set fire to your throat
It
as
was
the
quite
cotton
bloody.
ignited.
Well, like I said, Friday at work, I had to be the knob that showed up with the Hammer of God and the B2 from Steam Crave, right? They're sitting there, you know, seeing the cloud coming off it and making their comments. I'm like, that's nothing. Like, you don't understand how far this goes. Had to explain what a LiPo mod was. Then I told them the quick version of your fire breathing story, and they all went,
Yeah.
oh. So,
Yeah, you don't want to be doing fire breathing, honestly. I can't recommend it. It's,
I can. It was hilarious from my point of view.
I know it was
yeah, from the
hilarious.
safety of your living room, yeah, I bet it was.
Luckily for me, I didn't actually burn my throat, but 800 watts, yeah. 2 hits if you're lucky off an RDA, and then it's like you're out. But
Well, the best part is you straight juiced that one right before you hit it, and it still ignited.
yeah. Well, you're at that point where the actual e-liquid is at the point of ignition. It is, yeah.
I mean, yeah, there are some vapors out there who vape at 400. Batman used to.
Yeah.
His normal vape was a 007 at 400 watts.
Nowadays, it's very, very rare I push anything over
120.
2.
Well, for the most part, you stick between 120 and 150.
I don't think I'm even at that on my LiPo anyway. No, this is 120 at the minute, so.
Yeah. But you don't need to be any higher.
And I've disappeared again.
Fucking hell, he's back.
You know, I mean, I'm at 103 with a 0.14 build.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, Martin likes to vape a cooler vape. That's fine. That's cool. Yeah, no, vape at what makes you happy.
Yeah.
You get better battery life, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the moral of the story I was trying to tell is not most people out there vape anywhere near the way we do. It is what it is. I mean, put it this way. He's probably, from the look of the kid, he's probably early 20s, one of the new guys in the shop. He decided to look at me and go, "Ooh, can I try it?" You know what, buddy? Go ahead. Go right ahead. If you want to go right ahead. That's got a 0.27 build in it. That was probably the best highlight of my day.
It is funny when you hand it. It's like when you hand somebody a Mac mod with a 007 build in it, and I can handle what it is, and then suddenly they realise they really can't.
Well, he goes to hit it, and you know how the buttons on those mods are. It's a hard press button.
Yeah.
He goes to hit, and he pushes the button, and it might have made contact for a millisecond. You know, he's oh, that's not bad. I said, dude, actually hit the fucking button. I'm like, you're not even like actually okay. Hits it, the look on his face after he had got all the vape out of just what did I just do? And to be so I took it back from him and I hit it again and I actually purged on and actually hit it just to be a smart ass. Hit the thing, let all the cloud go. Somebody comes running out of the shop because it went in the side door. They thought something was on fire outside the fucking shop.
Well, with your place, it's quite believable. Something might be on fire.
Well,
I've
we've
had
had
that
more
happen
than
outside the
one
bar.
cigarette bucket catch fire over the years. Put it that way. People like to throw trash and then lit cigarette butts into the buckets.
This does not surprise me. And what does your company mainly make?
Fire suppression. Oh, I've always said it. I've always said if that place somehow burned down, that would be the most ironically great thing in the world, just for the fact of what they did.
Yeah.
Fire suppressant company burnt down.
But no, like every time I have a new setup or a new set of coils, my sister always tries, oh, can I try it? All she vapes is 50 milligram disposables. That's all she uses. I use 6 milligram freebase and everything. The best one, I took one of, well, the own that should not be named type builds.
Yeah.
Had one of those one day. Oh, can I try it? I like the smell of the juice. Okay. It never works out like they think it will.
No.
They're like, how do you hit that? It's like you just hit it. I mean, it is what it is. They're like, and then they're like, well, why does it bait for itself? Well, that's just how I have it set up to do.
It's,
Yeah. It's a couple of years ago now, but I was at a festival and I'm outside having a vape, and someone goes, "Can I try it?" So I said, "Yeah, sure." He's there, and he goes, "Fuck me, that's hot. How can you tolerate that? That's just
At the end of
normal."
the day, Martin, if a 0.15 at 70, 80 watts works for you, that's all that matters.
That's what works for you.
Well,
The thing is, if you like fruits with icing, that's gonna work.
Yeah.
I vape custards. It's not gonna work because vanilla doesn't release until you hit.
what, 100 watts at least?
Yeah.
So 95 watts, it starts to release. It's got to hit about 250 degrees.
I thought you were going to say 250 watts. I was going to say. Fucking hell.
No, but it needs to get to about 250 degrees.
Most of my custards, usually it's around that 100 watts plus.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're like I am, Matt. Depending on obviously airflow and everything, it's about 100 to 150.
Yeah.
For daily use.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I don't every day. If I'm around the house watching TV or going out in the car or whatever, I'm not vaping on big stuff anyway.
No.
I will stick to AIOs or single RTAs or
I've got zero room to talk. I carry that around just going out. I can't say anything.
You leave my caramel custard alone, Michael. To be honest with you, Michael.
Not 250 watts, 250 degrees Fahrenheit.
For me, Mike,
start to release.
I find a 007 on a Mac with a fresh battery is perfect on a custard.
Yeah.
By the time you've got that initial drop off, which you always get on a Mac, and it's come down to the normal 3.9 ish. Yeah, that's perfect. That's where I know 0.7, well, 007 to a 009, anywhere in that little bit there. Perfect.
I mean, when I was doing strictly stainless builds, I was running 0.08, 0.09s and RTAs.
24 Pro.
Is that a chuff cap?
Yeah.
You really got a chuff cap, Matt?
Hey, you leave my... No, it's a genuine 24 Pro, but...
Oh, see, mine's the blue edition, so it's all matchy.
I've got the blue, the green, and the red. I may have got...
I still have a blue 22 that's almost unused.
Oh, that's very true, Martin. It is funny watching somebody go from a pod to a proper mod.
Oh, the best is like I said, these disposable users. Oh, I use 50 milligram. I can handle. Well, this is only 6, but you set up a cloud this big, you're going to get one that you can't see through. So,
yeah,
I've had to explain that so many times about nicotine level versus vapor production. You know,
I know of somebody who will remain nameless, but there are certain people in chat and who are on here who know the person I'm about to say about, who used to claim to vape 50 milligram on a mech.
I've seen somebody do it. It did not end well.
I call bullshit because the lad was a bullshitter. We know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen somebody actually do that. Yeah, please don't anybody ever do that.
Why? Well, first of all, why does anyone need 50? I vape 50 milligram. Fucking Nick Bassett, you bastard. That was Nick. No, it wasn't Nick's fault. Nick was at Expo, right? And I went to he was with Jenny. And he came over, he went, and he went, try this, see what you think of this, Matt. And I was like, oh, cool. And the thing is, I think it might have been peach or something. Tried it, and initially, you do that first pull and you get the flavour and you think, ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So I hit it again. I was like, I said, what milligrams is this? As my head was just like, you dickhead. Fucking, how you could vape 50 milligrams salt, Nick?
I was going to say, when I met Nick, he brought some of his own liquid over, didn't he?
Yeah.
He gave me a couple of bottles of his raspberry and watermelon. What he didn't tell me was it was 50 milligram. For direct alone.
50 milligram.
For direct?
For direct.
Oh,
it was a 70-30 liquid.
50 milligram.
Pre-mixed.
Too high.
Trust me, my sister has her new disposable flavor. Hey, you want to try this? It's a really good flavor. Yeah, I'd like to try the flavor, but I'm going to take one hit and my chest is going to hurt for the next 20 minutes. So I'm okay.
I mean, that I did with that one that when Nick gave it to me, my chest was like, your chest was hurting. My heart was like going through the roof. I was like, fuck, what the fuck? It was one of those proper, like your head was going. I was like, oh, shit. I've always said 50 milligram, I don't care how much you smoke.
You don't need it.
It's too much.
I mean, and like to each their own too. Like when it comes to Salt Nick in general, I don't care what milligram it is. I cannot do Salt Nick. I've tried the low milligram 3 and 6 Salt Nick. My body doesn't like it.
Salt Nick can be a funny one because I
get heartburn from it and everything.
I'm all right with Salt Nick so long as I stick to I go for a 10 at maximum. I'm fine with that. If I go to 20, it's like no.
Well, in all fairness, only ones I've ever tried Salt Nick have been the disposables and everything over here, and they are only 50 milligram.
Too high.
You can't buy.
And
Like,
you're-
I could go into a vape shop right now and go, "Can I get any disposable under 50 milligram?" I guarantee they have none, unless
It's
they're
too
zero.
high.
Unless they're zero, they might have some zeros.
Yeah, 50 milligrams too high.
Fuck.
Oh,
Oh
Now,
no!
if somebody did that to me or Matt, that would be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jay, saying about Jay got addicted to nicotine salts.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
He got proper addicted to nicotine salts.
really.
He was like a little crack whore. He was honest to God, he couldn't leave him alone.
Yeah,
It was terrible.
because nicotine is addictive, but it's mildly addictive until you hit those high levels like the 50 milligram. Then they become very addictive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those where I think it was sensible that in this country we set a limit of 20 milligram.
I do.
Yeah.
I always did
Mhm.
think.
When it just shows who's making these devices, though, because as soon as you had like M-Turk and Homeboy come out with their own line of disposables, they were available in 20 and 30.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
were.
because 50 is just too much, and I don't understand why you could have 1,000 different varieties of disposable. They're all 50 milligram. Why is there not at least a step down like there are for bottles of juice? You got your 6s, your 3s, your whatever.
Yeah.
Why is it disposable different?
Because it's easier to set the machine, because it's all done on the machine. They just set it at 50 and let it run.
Well, and think of the batch size of juice you can make.
Well, yeah.
It's stupid because people are having 50 milligrams. That's why they're not able to quit smoking, is because 50 milligram is way too high for them.
Yeah.
If you give them 20 when they're quitting smoking, and most people, to be fair, don't need 20. 20
really.
is high.
Well, see, Martin, that's the thing. A lot of us, especially on the hobby side, we do chain vape. We do go through a certain amount,
Exactly. That's the thing, Martin. If you're on a 10, you can sit here, and unless you proper like I'm chain non-stop chain vaping, it's not going to be a problem on a 10. Worst case, I might give myself a bit of a headache.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 20 and above, getting into 50, you're going to run into giving yourself nicotine poisoning.
very quickly.
And you're not going to be well.
I mean, when I first started, some of what I vaped was at 36. I think I vaped 36 milligram for about a week. And I dropped down to 18 almost immediately.
I said the
Because
highest I've ever done freebase was 18, and that was for a pod.
And 18, to be fair, normal nicotine is high.
But you remember, though, back when we first started, Matt, 36
Was the
normal
go-to.
nicotine was available.
Yeah.
God, it hit
It
like
was.
a fucking truck.
Because it was 36, 24, 18, 12, 6, 3, and 0, if I remember.
There you go, folks. That is proof that Craig has not got his socks on. He was counting it off.
Twice.
With his 6 toes on each foot. Huh?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you come from little Scottish villages.
I'm not from a little Scottish village.
Oh, you're from a large Scottish village?
Yes. Town.
Let's not go into the Irving inbred.
I wasn't even going to mention him.
I still think
Yeah, I
it's
think-
hilarious that where Vic lives, just down the road, is actually
Yeah.
the cave of Sawney Bean. I think that's great. That is.
Mm.
Vic is somehow related to Sawney Bean, the fucking cannibal.
Could be.
with the incestuous family.
What?
Well, no,
Vicky-
because once they got to the grandchildren, none of them married outside the family, and they still kept having kids.
True. That was a strange and wonderful story. That.
Oh, isn't it just?
A rabbit hole to go down for sure.
But didn't they make it as far as great grandchildren before Sonny Bean was hung?
Yeah. He wasn't hung, was he? They cut his feet and hands off. Let me get this right. They cut his genitals off, his feet and hands off, and throw him in a fire, and then let him bleed to death. Scottish justice, eh? God. No, his mother is
No.
not. Martin, his
No.
mother actually. I'll be fair here. I can't believe that his mum has made it to the age she has. She's done very well, bless her. I've got nothing against his mum.
No.
He
Nothing.
did say to me in Expo, she goes out more than he does.
This doesn't surprise me.
I was to say
Well,
that doesn't surprise me.
She plays bingo, doesn't she?
Yeah.
That's because Vic's banned from the bingo.
Oh, too many Star Trek fans at bingo.
And
I had to. I had to.
Doctor Who fans.
Mm-hmm.
Vic is in the TARDIS.
It's called a porta potty.
It's a bottom joke. TARDIS.
Yep.
No, I know you are, Martin. I just
Yeah, that was 2003 weapons grade Y fronts.
weapons grade war front shit.
I still like him going through the questionnaire for when he was going to charge up the TARDIS. Weight? Well, Slim's felt. No, wait, my pen's fucked.
Now I gotta watch Bottom tonight. See what you do.
Oh, weapons grade Y fronts is a class film.
Yeah, it is. Absolute class film.
I mean, Eddie Hitler's entrance on that has got to be one of the best entrances ever on a stage play. Yep.
Yeah. Hooligans Island was good.
Hooligans Island's brilliant. Like I said though, there's some of the stuff on Hooligans Island in the second half that just means it edges weapons grade Y fronts.
Yeah.
Just.
I just don't know how they got away with some of the stuff they got away with. You talk talk about on the limit, it was, fuck me, was it on the edge?
And I love
No,
it. They're live
no,
shows, so they're just running with it.
No, I think they were looking at the limit from the rear.
Yeah.
Oh, Thunderwing Doomslayer, yeah.
Yeah.
But his name's Dave. Oh, look, he's dropped his fag. I think he's having a heart attack.
You see, yeah, but they're on about redoing Little Britain, aren't they?
Oh, no.
The issue I have with that is if they redo Little Britain, that's all the jokes going. Because they're already apologising for what they said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one thing I like about Ed Edmondson. He's still proud of all the bottom stuff.
Yeah, they should be, because it's funny.
Well, yeah.
He's brilliant. Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's proper comedy, not this political correct. I'm trying not to offend anybody bullshit. You know.
If you're going to do something to offend people, make sure you do it well.
Really offend
Right.
them. Yeah, if you're going to offend people, offend them badly.
Mm-hmm.
And Bottom
Sorry.
definitely offended people.
Matt saw a video earlier and it reminded me of you. Guy goes, I got fired last week, by HR because they came in and asked us what we do in certain situations, for emergencies. Said, what steps would you take if there was an explosion? Apparently, fucking big ones is not the answer they were looking for.
And also, if you had a fire at work, the response should not be, I'll go and get some marshmallows, is not the correct response either.
It's like I was actually in a health and safety meeting for the show I used to be involved with.
That in itself.
We had buckets of water all around the arena because we had live fire on the arena.
Yeah.
And someone said, yeah, but what happens if a child sticks his head in the bucket of water? I said, well, just put gentle pressure on the back of their head. Apparently that wasn't the right answer either. I said, yeah, but after a minute, there's no problem at all.
No, they go quiet.
Yeah, they go really quiet.
Problem solved.
I mean, my last show, I had two kids thought they would be clever because I used to have a pouch on my hip which contained flash packets. And they kept reaching for these flash packets, thinking it would be clever. One of them reached out. I grabbed his hand and just turned it over the back of over his shoulder and pinned his hand down above his head. The other lad thought he could see his opportunity then to go for the flash packets. Yeah, I grabbed his hand with my other hand and did the same to them. The mother just turned, looked down and goes, I told you to stop it. It was a big pagan weekend.
Yeah.
Which means the people there are realists.
Exactly.
I'm thinking, technically that might not be seen too well, but when the mother just goes, I told you to stop it.
Told you to, yeah.
Well, it's too. There's too much now of this. You can't do that. You can't tell my child off. Well, do you want your child to blow themselves up?
Right.
Yeah. these flash packets, I knew how to use them.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Is what had happened if they'd actually got a hold of one?
Oh, that would
If they got
explain
a hold of one and thrown it in a fire, because we had bonfires right through the night,
Yeah.
they could have caused injuries to people.
Oh, God.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've got these kids that think, "Oh, well, I can do this." Yeah, we did stupid shit too, but not just to be stupid.
Oh, I did.
Usually.
Oh, I did. I did a lot of stupid shit just to be stupid.
I do still do stupid shit.
Yeah, we've noticed is every so often you'll go to the take a bathroom break and we'll hear. Usually it's after the fire alarm goes off at 3 a.m. But
yeah, I mean that's definitely an unwise thing to do with your missus.
Oh, I meant first
particularly when she's had difficulty sleeping thanks to the Gwendolyn.
Yeah, but yeah. But what if there was a fire in the middle of the night and it didn't go off?
At this point, Matt, there could be a fire. And she would think it was you, and she'd roll back over and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
True.
The occasional one's funny. When it happened like 4 times in a week, then it was like, okay, you might want to open the window.
It wasn't my fault.
You opened the door and it went off.
You opened the door.
I didn't fit the alarm, did I?
No, because if you had, you would have disconnected the one right outside your room.
I'm still thinking about it.
It's all right. The worst one is if I set the alarm off in my hallway.
It's your whole flat, isn't it?
It sets the alarms off in all 6 flats. If I don't cancel it within 30 seconds, it sets the whole block off.
Same time, I lived in an apartment years ago, heard people screaming outside. The next level down, 3 apartments over, someone decided they were going to deep fry something on a portable stovetop in their kitchen.
Oh, fuck's sake.
And, well, you can imagine what happened.
That's proper redneck.
It's proper ghetto is what it was. And the inside of that apartment was interesting to see the aftermath.
We're frying some squirrel.
Nah, they were doing Southern fried chicken steak.
Or mistake.
Yeah.
Southern fried squirrel.
So there was that fire. There was the garage behind the house when that one caught fire a few weeks ago.
And you're moaning at me.
Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah, your local crack dealer.
You never know around here. I mean, in all fairness, I went to Walmart yesterday, and this guy, I was kind of narrow depending where you're at in the stores. So I scooted my cart all the way over so he can get by me. Tell me why he had like 3 gallons of what looked like, I'm assuming like ammonia or something along, those guidelines, and like 20 bottles of drain cleaner.
Crack. Meth.
I'm like, oh, okay.
So how much is your meth?
Is it blue? Yeah, toilet bowl blue.
Yeah, they were going to get rid of a body.
Something going on.
Hey, might have been.
But drain cleaner, particularly if you've got acetone as well.
That's meth.
Then you make the good stuff.
See, come here and you can learn recipes to how to make meth for the weekend.
I'm not telling you the rest of the recipe.
Tyler's Guide to Making Meth.
But it is out there.
And I do not have a guide for it, so please do not red list me.
Cooking meth with Tyler.
No, it's goodbye my entire block.
Yes, Gary, I have. Scary thought. Scary.
Well, now that we have spiraled into squirrels making meth, anybody have anything else for this week?
No.
No, not like
Assisted dying was approved in Parliament, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah,
Yes,
that's
the
true,
first
isn't it?
read.
Did I
Which
hear that
actually-
right? It means what I think it means.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
does.
does.
Which I actually agree. I actually agree with it. I do.
I agree with it.
Do they have stipulations, obviously, of situations and everything else that
Yes.
makes sense?
Well,
Okay.
I have put Keir Starmer's name down before assisted dying, but so far I haven't had a confirmation letter back yet. So
The thing is, someone stage 4 cancer in palliative care.
yeah, it's
I have no problem
Yeah.
with that whatsoever because I've seen the pain somebody
yeah.
in stage 4 goes through.
And then you got people over here that are being kept alive on life support and having children while on life support. So
it's something that people don't like to talk about, but if somebody is in that position, why should they have to suffer for the next however long?
when you know there's nothing you can do, there's no fixing, reversing, treating, whatever.
And the trouble is, it was at the point where if somebody even gave them the medication or was in the same house and they took medication to do an overdose or something along those lines, suicide, then it was a conspiracy basically, and they would be held accountable by it being manslaughter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally agree that people should have the power to be able to make their own decision on that. It should have been done a long time ago.
Well, it's honestly just cruel to make people suffer for however long and basically just play the game of, well, we're just going to see how long you live and we're going to go from there.
Yeah. No,
To put it in perspective, we sort of have it now because there's very limited circumstances where they can bring in the Liverpool project, which is where a doctor gives sufficient painkiller to take away all the pain. The fact that it's also a lethal dose.
Yeah.
But I saw my stepfather literally in so much pain that he couldn't have anything touch him. Even a sheet on the bed he was laid in hurt him. He was in that level of pain.
Yeah,
and I literally saw the pain leave him as that final injection was given.
Nobody should have to go through that level of pain. Nobody.
No.
Ever.
No.
Well, especially prolonged when it's not necessary by any means.
If you saw an animal in the same situation, if you let them live through it, you'll be prosecuted for cruelty.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
A lot of the reason that it was brought in soon will be down to the fact that
hey, Hanky.
It comes down to the church because it's a mortal sin for somebody to take their own life. Well, if somebody is at a point in their life where their life is technically really finished anyway,
well, when your quality of life has gone to that level,
you're just aiding them. You're aiding them, assisting them in moving on. So and because of the rules that they've brought in, which will be very strict rules,
Well,
I don't see an
the
issue
rule-
with it.
the rules aren't much different to the rules for the Liverpool project, which effectively was a pilot for the whole assisted dying bill.
Yeah.
But literally, to watch the pain leave somebody who is in not just agony, but screaming agony,
Yeah.
but to the point where they haven't got the energy to scream even because it stripped everything.
Lisa's found another full bottle of Kraken.
So Lisa's going to be pissed tomorrow.
We've gone from
Lee's gonna call work. I gotta stay home. Why is she having a hypo? No, she just can't move.
Yeah, if she can't move, she's as unable to move as a newt. Just
I've
been
been
soaked
like that.
in alcohol.
I've been like that a few times.
Yeah.
2 days in a row, Mr. Hunky.
But no, that the assisted dying one, I hope it goes all the way through. Because, like I say, if we let an animal go through the same as we let people go through,
You'd be done for
you'd be
cruelty.
prosecuted
Oh,
for
yeah.
cruelty.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a damn good thing. I think it's been on the cards for a long time, and there's been a lot of people who said that it should come in, and I totally agree. But, okay, it's now 2 hours 12 minutes. We'll call it.
At least the second half of the show kind of went back uphill a little bit from the crap we started on.
You see, there's the perfect case for assisted. No.
Well, there's 3 cases there, isn't there?
No, I totally agree with you, Martin. I totally agree. If somebody has felt that their life is, especially through health issues, they should have the option in place to be able to decide whether to take the option out that way. I have no issue with that. I have no issue whatsoever with that. So long as it is done properly and we don't get people trying to get rid of parents to like inherit their bank balance or dodgy shit, but obviously,
the thing is, we're talking about people who no longer have the physical capability.
Yeah.
Right, to do anything really, let alone have a quality of life. Yeah.
But still have the mental capacity to make the decision.
But still have the mental capacity.
Yeah.
Now, if you've still got the mental capacity but no physical ability, that is cruel.
Yeah, very. Very. Right, gentlemen, we shall call it a show, a show at that.
Yeah.
I shall allow you to do your goodbyes.
Do we have to do it like that, or can we do our own spin?
No, you can do your own spin, mate. Just do what you like.
I'll start this week, guys. That was a good show. Some more serious notes, some lighter notes, some reminiscing of old crappy vape gear. As always, you know where we are. Facebook groups there, partial chats there if you guys need us. Past that, I don't have much to say this week. Everybody have a good one, and we'll see you next week. Bill, say goodbyes, buddy.
Yeah. Cheers, Tyler. No, I hope everybody has a really good week. If you've any ideas for topics that keep us away from talking about certain politicians in the world, its input is would be appreciated. Groups there if you do need us, and I shall see you all next week. Over to you, Craig.
Thanks everyone for joining us. This week we actually talked a little bit about vaping as well.
It does happen now and again.
surprises. So I know it does happen every now and again, but the group is there. If anyone's struggling, there's always one of us available if need be. Give us a shout. Have a good week. We'll be back again next week as usual. Have a good week, and I'll pass that to Matt.
Yeah, no, interesting start to the show, but yeah, I thought it needed talking about.
No, it did.
The way of the world, things that are going on. Can't really help you with that one if anybody sends us a message saying, can you solve nuclear war? No.
Yeah.
Cause one, possibly. Solve one, no. Hopefully things do sort out, but I can't see it being any time soon. Yeah, if you want us, you know where the rooms are. Everybody knows where to get hold of us, so that's just simple. Send us a message and we can soon sort something out. Yeah, ideas for next week's show. If nobody comes up with a good idea, I can always come up with a bad idea. So
You've been warned.
Always come up with a bad idea. So we shall see what next week's show brings. I might even do a light-hearted show next week. We'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see. Unless America gets blown off the map, which that's also possible.
Hey, don't joke. The Simpsons predicted that the 30th of this month, the world will end in the U.S. I don't want to say how I feel about that, but we'll see what happens.
Well, get your life in perspective because you haven't got that many days.
That's what I'm saying. They've been right on a lot more than not.
Yeah, you haven't got long left. I don't think it'll come to that, but hopefully so. But we shall call it an evening, and hope everyone has a good night. So, bye-bye, guys.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
See you next